some of it's written horizontally, the problems. And so the kids will take time to rewrite those problems. And so these are all things that we're looking at that we have to adjust, we might not have had the kids write the problems out as much as they should have. Maybe we haven't exposed them to numbers written horizontally versus vertically. There's a lot of things that we see that we can make a change. And so I think.
But you also go back to the curriculum and you say, okay, is our curriculum supporting what it needs to support too? I mean, we can tweak and do these things, and I think over the 5 years we have tweaked. But there's always that underlying area of now that we've tweaked, what else can we do, and should this start at the bottom up, and do we look at our math curriculum now, and we took a test that was based on the core standards, and maybe that's, we're not really going to have an option whether to adopt those or not. It's just it's a matter of when, and that's not my decision to make.
And we are looking at it. It has to be looked at K-8. It has to be a cross grade level sort of fix. I know that we're all looking at 3rd and 4th grade because those are the test scores that are
that's when they start
testing. That they're out. But you have to remember that it has to be looked at, like someone said, before they walk into fourth grade's door, and takes that test.
And I think it is a lot of test taking skill though too. If we are going to base so much on these, we need to teach the kids how to take these tests. And you're not teaching to the test, you're teaching them how to show what they know on these tests. And in 2nd grade, we've already talked, we always did time tests, 1 digit plus 1 digit. They go to these tests, it's regrouping time test. They know how to regroup, they show us on concepts, they do, but they don't do it under pressure. So we've started adding in 5 problems in a minute. Let's see what you can do. Okay, great, now let's try it in 50 seconds, so it's teaching those test taking skills as well.
Other questions on the board?
Yeah, so I don't know if any of you heard about, but I think Gower is now doing it, where they are offering, it's basically a free summer school program, but they don't go to summer school. It's basically an online class, where the first 2 weeks of the summer they can go, and each individual student that's recommended goes to whatever teacher it is, sits down and says, this is where you need help. I need you to do this, this, and this over the summer. And then they're done. And it's just that they purchase a software package, and it sounds like maybe instead of charging children, maybe that's something as a board we should look at our other options.
Karen, it was something that, I was going to bring up as well. We were here how many meetings ago where we acknowledged the work that those students did on SumDog, and SumDog, bottom line is it's drill and practice. That's all it is, over and over and over again. It is ideal for elementary school students. It doesn't go much past 4th grade, but it's got a lot of great skills. So whether it's that, whether you go out and you look at IXL, their website, and what they have to offer, there's a multitude of math websites out there that perhaps as an alternative to saying, come in,
right?
What can we provide them that might be instructional, while at the same time provides them, that skill and practice. We've never, beyond summer school, really had a conversation of what can we do over the summer. I don't think there has ever been a year where we've not recognized the fact that there's regression.
Sure.
For as many years as I've taught math, I know what to expect come fall. It just happens. And how much you have to remediate when you reconvene in the fall is questionable depending upon your student population. So what can we do to shore that up, to minimize as much regression as possible?
I mean, there's summer reading, and they get the
Right.
certificate, the rewards for that. So that's why I thought if that's been a discussion, I don't know.
It has actually met with 4th grade team this morning because we're talking about expanding SumDog, at least to the 4th grade, the whole 4th grade, and possibly more. So we did get invited to do another contest. We piloted it. Really, it was the first time we tried it. It was a pilot. We used it with the above level 4th grade class, and it was very successful. So we're looking at it again and going to expand that. And there are other ones too we're looking at too.
For what it's worth, I just said to Amy, I'm watching her because my kids did it yesterday, and oh my God. I had thousands of problems done this morning, and all I asked them to do was 30 on SumDog. So, I mean, it's a great little resource. It really is for what it's,
For what it is, I mean, that's exactly it. I'm not using it as our end all be all
Oh, yeah,
by
no.
any means.
There's no
But when
panacea
they,
here.
but when they sat there and they must have been, they play it now even when they don't, and they know there's a competition coming up, they came up to me and they're like, we are in this competition, we are doing this, and
They're
we are
getting their
winning it
fingers
this
ready.
time.
They're
They're
like,
ready.
I'm
sure.
We're ready, we're
Sure.
gonna do it. And I have been doing another, and Julie and I for sure have been doing another, just computation practice every night on a web page. And they have to do this, and they have to get their certificates, and I make a huge deal out of it. And it's little things, but they love it, you know? Like, my first kid finally passed multiplication. It's 30 problems in 3 minutes, or no, it's
You have 3 seconds to
3 seconds a problem. And they have to do 30 problems. And they have to get 100% on the whole thing to get the certificate. Finally got my first kid to pass, they have to do addition, subtraction, and then multiplication and division. Finally got my first kid to do multiplication. And I made a huge deal out of it. And it's just getting them to do it in a timed way, but also looking at.
But we also
This-
acknowledge that
there's
this is by
no
no
means-
means
No, that's not what I was saying, right.
gonna,
Fix it.
We know we have to adjust our curriculum.
Yes.
Okay.
Other questions?
I do. A couple of thoughts, comments. One is, Matt, when you say panic and make knee-jerk decisions when data is negative, and I would agree with that, except that in the case of, we rely on Dr. Wick. Dr. Wick has been here numerous times telling us estimation is an issue. So I don't really think that, he sat in these board meetings and told us estimation is an issue in your computation. He's pointed that out, and so we've seen this, he hasn't offered up what to do, what to change, but we've seen this enough times that I don't know that I would call it a knee-jerk decision to ask, what else can we do? What else can be modified? Because it's not just the one test. It's been multiple years that he's come in and said, computation's an issue, estimation's an issue. So I guess I would be looking for, I'm hearing a bunch of suggestions tonight, what does the team, and then go, I guess, to the curriculum council and back to the board, what are they recommending? I would be looking for that sometime in the very near future. And then the other item on here is, you don't base too much emphasis on one test, and I can appreciate that, but the fact is that myself, I think I can point to the board, I think I can definitely point to past boards, and I can probably point to the community. We've been conditioned that the ITBS is that important. We have been conditioned that way. We have never, as a board, voted to have a town hall meeting to come in and study the Gates reading test. But we have had town hall meetings to come in and understand your child's test score, utilizing ITBS data, and blowing it out to Explore tests, and taking it further to ACT results. So if I or community has reacted to the ITBS, we've been conditioned to. Okay? That's what we've been told. It's that important.
Except for me.
No, understood. But
Except for me.
You may not have
Sorry.
been conditioned to it, but I'm certain that you've been told it.
I've heard it, yeah.
Right. Okay. So the other thing is, if I'm hearing some of what we're saying correctly, the idea that the children understand, it's not that children are selecting 50 wrong answers out of 100 and then just not even getting to the other 50. It's that they're selecting the 50 correct answers and they're just not having enough time for the remaining 50. And that may or may not be something that can truly be fixed in every individual. Am I hearing that correct?
Are you talking about the
computation.
NPR 50?
I'm making up the number of 50%. I'm just, 50, I'm hearing that they're getting,
Again, I didn't hear any of
well,
that.
they're getting the correct answer, they're just not completing the
finishing the
test.
Well,
You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
means that they really understand
they know
math.
that, they know it. I mean, it's not,
They just.
I think it's more important to
Right.
know it than to do it extremely fast or to be
Correct.
timed. I mean, are we
Correct.
timing them on their, are we measuring their test-taking skills or are we measuring their knowledge?
Correct, and
They
that's
know
what I
it.
would, and that's what I would like, what we get is, we get one answer for, I don't know where it's at, but we get one answer for, computation. We get one number, it says 65. What that number doesn't tell me